let's say if I'm going to be going and building just one server which I want to use as a web server or for my website. So if I'm building one server, I can actually go and keep that in one single availability zone, which is okay, which is fine. If server crashes or if something goes wrong with this server, my users, I will not be able to go and connect to this machine. I will not be able to consume this, distributing your workload. Okay. So in that way, if I'm going to go and lose any of the one server, I'm okay. I do have a second web server and I can go and connect and consume that one. That's perfect. In case something goes wrong at the Amazon side and we lose the entire zone, that's fine. I do have a second server in the other zone and that is not going to be impacted due to it. I will continue to utilize the services from there. Okay. In some cases, you actually want to have your servers stay together. Okay. In case if you're going to be going and creating a multi-tier architecture, means you have a web server and then you have an application or a database server as well. So at that point of time, you actually want your multiple servers to stay together in the same zone. So if you see here, if I'm going to be going and working with the application or database server along with it, I would like to go and keep that close to my web server, so that my web server is going to be able to go and talk to it on the same data center in the same location for the faster access. Okay, so depending upon what kind of a design you are going to be going and creating, what kind of a requirement you are going to be going and trying to fulfill, what kind of an architecture you're going to be trying to recommend, you might want to go and keep those servers split up, or you might want to go and keep them together. And this is the step where you have an opportunity to go and state that whether you want the servers to stay in which of the availability zone. So we are going to go and click on edit here. Okay. And if you click here in the subnet, if you click here in the drop down, it is actually going to be going and showing you all the 6 zones. So I do have A, B, C, D, E, F. All 6 are shown here. And I can go and pick it up that I do want my server to be there in the zone A. Okay. So this means Amazon is actually going to be going and deploying this machine in the availability zone A for me. Other important thing to note here is once you have decided that you want to go and deploy this server in a specific data center, you will not be able to go and change that later. You cannot actually go and say, no, by mistake, I have put that in the zone A. I actually want to go and run that in zone B. In case if you have a requirement to move your server from one data center to another one, you actually need to back it up, destroy the original one, and then recreate the new from the backup in the new zone, new data center you wish. Okay, so it is important because the movement is not going to be easy. It's not going to be a click away. Okay, so something important, something to note. So so you are aware of that how difficult it's going to be to go and move it later. Okay. All right. So I'm good with it. Now the second important part is about the security, about your firewall rules. That who do you wish to give access to this machine? Who all can go and use it? Okay. So let's say I actually want only my users from my own data center should be able to use. Okay. I don't want it to be open to public. I don't want my server to be accessible for everyone. And that is where we do go and work with the security group or the firewall rules. Okay. Uh, I'm actually gonna go and say I want to create a new security group. I will give it a name, my firewall. And you can give the description that for what purpose you would like to go and use it, and we will give a description in a while. But let's actually go and explore that how these rules look like. Okay, what do we have inside these rules? If I scroll this down further, it says the first rule which we have here in the firewall is that we actually want to go and allow a service called RDP. Now what this RDP service is? So RDP service is actually a remote desktop protocol, and this particular service works on a port number 3389. All the communication, all the work, all the connectivity happens on different port numbers in the networking. Okay, so operating system provide you the services on a specific port number, and the second part to it is, okay, who is the source? Who's gonna consume it? Okay, so the first row is which service, and second part is who is gonna use it. If we are going to be going and choosing anywhere, it will go and use an IP address range which is 0000. That means all IP addresses are permitted. It's like an asterisk. Okay? It's like a star. That all IPs are allowed. All IPs can go and consume this RDP service. Means we are not restricting anyone. Anyone can go and try to log in. If you know the username and the password, you will be able to log in, or at least you can actually try guessing it, right? Because it's actually having a open to everyone. It is going to be open to public, which is not a good idea, right? So we should actually go and keep it as restricted as possible. So from the source type, we have a two more options here. One, custom, and second one is my own IP address. So my IP is the most secure one. My IP address means it is only going to be going and detecting that which IP address you are connected from, and only your IP is allowed to go and access this machine. So in this way, you are not actually going to be going and opening to the public, but you are only going to be going and keeping that limited to your own IP address, and you are only going to be allowed to go and use it, consume it. Okay. So other option we do have is a custom, and custom is also better than anywhere. Okay, custom is also good. If I go and choose a custom one allow me to go and specify a range of IP addresses. So for example, if your organization is actually using the IP address range which starts from 35 onward, you can say any IP address which starts with 35, I'm going to allow that one. Okay, that means all the machines, all the users from my organization, so they are going to be allowed. So group of IPs, so group of a group of machines are going to be allowed there. Okay, so that is how you can actually go and change that or modify that. Okay, so for this demo, for this exercise, we actually going to be going and trying to keep that open for everyone. I will go and select the anywhere. Okay. Although I do have a warning here, it says don't choose that one. It's not a good idea. But that's fine. Okay, it's okay. We also have an option to go and add multiple rules in this firewall. So I can go and say I want to add a one more rule here. I will click on say add one more security group rule. And from this drop down, I'll be able to go and choose that which service I would like to go and allow. In case if I'm thinking of making this server as a web server, okay, I want to be used as a web services. I can go and click in here in the drop down and gonna go and say, all right, these are the all predefined port we do have. In case if you're using certain application or some service which is not listed here, you can always choose a custom one as well. If I scroll this down, we do have a very popular ports which are already listed here. We have SSH, and this is something which we are going to be going and using it when we use a Linux machine. Okay, we will show you how to build and work and create the Linux machine. We'll be allowing the SSH at that point of time. We have a DNS, we have a HTTP, and HTTP is for the web services. Okay, we do have a secure HTTP as well. We do have the Microsoft SQL. We have a MySQL. We have Oracle. And HTTP service is gonna go and work on port number 80. Okay, so on the 80, it is gonna be used and consumed. And source, I want my web page, my web service should be consumed from all IPs. So I'm gonna go and select anywhere again. So in this case, in this example, so I do have a two services defined here. One is for the these can be updated later on as well. You can change the firewall rules for. So that's how the firewall rules works. Okay. Okay. Okay.